Hello, everyone, and welcome to the best time of the week. It's propaganda. It's me and Taff. We are here to talk about all the nonsense and the good stuff and the bad stuff around Sunland AFC after our 3-2 win against Bournemouth. And we've done a match review of that, so check that out. That'll be on both our channels, but it's housed on Taff's channel. And yeah, we like to share the content out. Right, let's dive into it though. Let's start with some Newcastle. I think it's always fun to start with some Newcastle, isn't it? So we've got Geordie Josh, who we've referenced I think before on this channel. I think we have
Yeah,
seen Geordie Josh once or twice before, but anyway,
very
we'll start with
propaganda
him.
friendly, that man.
So this is, if we notice the time here, Taff, 15:17. So this is
Yes.
Saturday, Sunderland 2-0 down at this point, and Geordie Josh has said this. Said to
It's good
myself
to
as
know he's
soon.
watching our game.
Yeah, he is. He is, yes. Said it to myself as soon as the international break ended. Sunderland's bubble has burst. They play a lot of rock and roll, hit and hope football, which is heavily dependent on their support. Not sustainable, in my opinion, for a full season. They've lost their momentum before the derby. That's the key line at the end there. It's manifesting, isn't it? That's what it is.
Well, he's very dependable for propaganda stuff. At least he doesn't delete it. He knows what he's doing. He's clearly spending his afternoons watching Sunderland, because I wouldn't really be watching. I don't even know. I mean, I know that they won, but I didn't watch their game, even though it was afterwards. But he's clearly watching ours. Well, I don't even know what rock and roll football is. Hit and hope. It's if he is watching properly, he's not really got the hang of things. Dependent
Well,
on their support. There's nothing wrong with that. Is he saying his own support isn't good enough? They can't pull out results because of their support? Is that what I'm
yeah.
reading into the lines here?
Well,
Yeah.
this is a three-parter. This one for Geordie Josh. So we've got three
Please
bits.
tell me there's a tweet from full time.
Yeah, there is a cheat for full time which we'll get to, but we've actually got a video to watch. So I'm gonna share the video 2 seconds. So
Ooh,
we'll
I haven't seen this. This is on the TikTok, the youth thing.
on the TikTok. There we are. Right. So here we are. And
Yeah.
we should say follow Geordie Josh's TikTok if you like this sort of stuff. We'll plug his
He
stuff.
does a
He
lot of
does
Sunderland content.
it does do a ton of Sunderland content. And he's doing very well for himself, 110k followers. So well done, Geordie Josh. And you are helping us with your outrageous takes. So I'm going to play
Keep 'em
this
coming.
video.
Tyler Adams, take a bow, son. What a goal against Sunderland from the halfway line.
Very
Happy
good.
Thanksgiving to all of the Americans. Get in there. Right, all jokes aside, 2-0 to Bournemouth in 14 minutes. I said it, I came on here and said, as soon as the international break was finished, Sunderland's honeymoon phase is over. Their bubble has been burst. When I'm watching Sunderland, they're playing rock and roll football, hit and hope. It's heavily dependent on their support, just basically coming up to the Premier League and having that buzz. Kind of like Newcastle in their first season under Eddie Howe. We've got this ambition. We're playing for a new sort of club, so to speak. That's all they're living off. And unfortunately, it's over. The phase has gone. Look, they've still got some players that they will be able to sell for a massive fee, like Robin Rose, I can imagine Noah Siddiqui, etc., etc. But as it goes for dominating teams as they were, for pulling out results, last minute winners, it was off a pure buzz. That's not happening anymore. Yet again, it's not sustainable. You can't do that for 38 games every single week in the Premier League, the best league in the world. But just to touch upon that finish, Jesus bloody Christ. I was watching this game live, I'm thinking, he's got to play him there, surely. Take it a little bit more forward. Tyler Adams said no, and Tyler Adams scored from inside the D. Some boy. But oh. That's not Sunderland losing their momentum before the derby, is it? Tyler.
There we go.
It's
Let's
not. It's
digest
not the
that then.
D. He's not shooting from the D. It's the centre circle, you moron. You are brilliant, that like. Um, Look,
It's
he said he watched the game live. He said he watched the game live. He's very worried. Very worried. Yeah, I think you're right. Trying to manifest a fall in form before the derby. They've got everything to lose for that game, haven't they?
yeah,
Everything to
I
lose.
think that this is exactly what it is. I think that there's a lot of Newcastle fans, generally, because I know a lot of Newcastle fans who are at the start of the season were almost like quite patronising around something like, oh, isn't it nice? You've won a few games. Oh, isn't it nice that you have come up after all them? Yeah, da da da. And now they're a little bit like, this is quite irritating that Sunderland are doing quite well, and we're just waiting for them to begin their demise down the table. And look, maybe I don't think we can realistically expect to finish fourth where we are at the time of recording this video. It's probably not going to be Champions League football for us, but the fact is everyone expected us to be in the bottom three. I mean, when we hit 40 points, and I'll say as comfortably is when, not if. I'm gonna do a propaganda. We're gonna do a propaganda special on preseason predictions.
Oh yes,
and really dive into people. But I think that's what the thing is. Everyone was expecting us to be bad. I had a Newcastle fan text us yesterday with the stats from the game being like, "How have you won this game 3-2?" And it's like,
have you told him he should watch our reviews?
Yeah, yeah. Then you'll be able to find out why we won the game 3-2. Yeah, I think they're worried.
I think they are. I think this is clear propaganda. I quite like Geordie Josh because he gives such wonderful content for Sunderland fans. He's clearly some sort of satirical Sunderland supporter, I think, because there's no way that you'd like that content if you're a Geordie or a Newcastle fan, sorry. So I think that he's just, what is he doing? He spends his entire time worrying about Sunderland. And I think it speaks much more about Sunderland than the garbage message that you're promoting for about us being poor. It speaks much more for Newcastle mindset. So what is he saying in there? It's clear propaganda, because what he's saying is you can't live off your fans' energy, meaning we've been getting results and winning games because the fans are so driven in the stadium. Well, the only reason you could say that is because your fans aren't driven enough to get you results.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the comparison that he's making. So he's admitting there that their atmospheres are a bit flat and they can't win games because they're not helped over the line by their fans. And ours are not sustainable. And the other thing that they're saying there is the desperate fear, as you point out, about the coming derby, saying that their form has collapsed with the derby round the corner. I mean, you wouldn't be saying that unless you were worried about us at the coming derby. And they have everything to lose. They are by far the more expensive, more seasoned, better producing team, before the season started. And if they don't win that game, it will feel like failure for them. If we draw, that's really good for us. I think we can beat them. But if we draw, that's still a great result, considering they spent most of the summer telling us how they were going to batter us, and 5-1 is going to be beaten and all sorts of garbage like that. And even if we lose, it's not going to derail anything. We're accruing points all the time. We're going to have a good goal difference. We're not going to get absolutely hammered. And 40 points by Easter, Connor. 40 points by Easter. Awesome after AFCON, remember?
Yeah. Awesome after AFCON. I think as well, if I was a Newcastle fan, the thing for the Bournemouth game that I'd be worried about is like this team clearly does not know when it's dead. And that is like a big thing. The other thing I would say is that I find it very strange that the Newcastle content creator world, and look, I think I watch a lot of the Sunlun content creator world, but I don't see Sunlun content creators really talking about Newcastle. Obviously, we're doing it now because we're referencing what they've talked about, but we aren't talking about how terrible Newcastle are when they're losing. We're not making specific videos about it. I think it's weird.
They must have better creators than Geordie Josh and that other tracksuited child, Adam P. or whatever his name is, Pearson, whatever. They must have better content creators than those two. But those are the two you see, and we don't really have anyone like that. So we certainly don't spend our time worrying about the derby game. They've pinned everything on hammering us, and now they're deeply worried that they won't. And I think it's great. We're moseying on week through week, picking up points here and there, and we're loving the fact that we're doing that. And we're only what are we now? We're only so many points behind Leeds. We're not 24 points. We've halved that now. I don't know.
Yeah, we've got double the amount of points they've got. So happy days. Right, Geordie Josh. Just to finish this off here.
Oh, yes.
This is him defending himself. So this is 507. So this is a couple hours after his first tweet. People having a go at me for this, Fairs, but I stand by it all day long. The football Sunderland play isn't sustainable. Hit and hope and pray for a magic moment to happen. It'll fade away soon enough. The sheer luck they get won't last long. Playing off pure buzz. Enjoy it for now. Now, my main issue with this is the sheer luck. What's been lucky about Sunderland's? I mean, is it... We hear about the fixtures, we haven't played anyone, but we debunked that in the previous video where we played 6 of the top 10 and haven't lost against any of them. What's the luck?
We played them at the right time. It's the other one. I don't know. It just... But again, he's doubling down on the fact that he says they're only winning because their fans are amazing. Thank you very much, Geordie Josh. We are. But what does that say about your own fans when you're struggling to win? Are you not an amazing fan base? Is that what you're saying? But they have pinned absolutely everything on the derby. But he claims to watch that game. I think he probably did. But we weren't lucky. And Geordie Josh, if you see this at all, you should watch the review game. It was Bournemouth who scored 2 breakaway goals and Sunlun who scored 3 goals out of constructive play. We weren't lucky to score those goals. Bournemouth's defence was horrid. And it's clear propaganda. Fair enough. He doubles down on it. He's great. He's great for us when we're doing very well. I don't know what he's... I mean, is he going to tweet during the game? He won't have a ticket to our match. So,
I don't know.
Is he going to tweet during the game? I have no idea. I won't see it until well afterwards. But who would be watching these things during the game? Which Newcastle fan base fan will be looking at that tweet 17 minutes past 3, think, yes, get in. Sunderland are being hammered. Thank you, Geordie Josh. It's just bizarre. Yeah. And wrong. Propaganda.
Yeah. Definite propaganda. So let's move on. Bournemouth fan here of a forum. So you found this and sent me it this morning. I'll just read it quickly. Feck. I like feck. That's a good word. Feck Sunderland in their cheating tactics. The referee waves away a clear dive from their player when he should have been booked. They commenced the at-ricks all over the pitch. They got away with handball. The ball went out and was blown back in when it should have been our throw. They got a corner. It was constant not giving decisions to us and giving them stuff for diving. Awful refereeing. Awful fans. Awful result. Again, we were the far better team with nothing to show for it. They were a bunch of effing cheats throwing the ball on time. So there we are. That Richard A is a riled, I would say, ball.
He's been given some kudos.
What are we picking out here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's quite a lot there.
We conceded more fouls than them in the game, so
yes,
just throwing that out there.
Yeah, we also had 5 yellow cards to their 6, so the fouls and the yellow cards were pretty even. I mean, Mukiele got a yellow card because he was dragged to the floor, and then he got up and complained. He didn't do anything. He got pushed over. He complained. He got fouled, dragged to the floor, and then he stood up and said, "What are you doing?" And he got pushed over by the same player, and he didn't put hands on anybody or say anything, and he got booked. So quite how they can complain that the referee is, terrible. And then the diving player. I presume they're talking about Reinildo for the penalty, which I think is a little soft. If we had conceded that, we'd be like, he puts his foot out there, he doesn't have control of it. But you have taken his leg away in the box.
It's a silly tackle.
It's a silly tackle. Yeah, it's a silly tackle. I don't really think you can complain about it. But then I compare that to who's their fullback. Do you remember the one that when Mundell was on? I think was it Mundell late in the game. Smith, yeah. He runs 4 yards in his own box to the byline and then dives over holding his ankle. It was absurd. And the referee, I don't know why the referee doesn't book him for that, because it was quite an absurd dive. Mundell has stopped chasing him.
Of the referee overall in this game, because I thought in the ground, and obviously it's always different when you're in the ground. When you're in the ground, you always feel like the referee's either for you or against you. But I felt like we were not getting necessarily the decisions we should have got. I thought the referee was poor overall for Sunderland, but Bournemouth have came out. I mean, their managers came out and he's went 2-footed in on the referee, saying that he was shocking and he's really went heavy in it. Was the referee biased towards Sunderland? Am I missing something?
No, I don't. I thought the referee did a reasonably good job, actually. If you look at all of the decisions, that all of the major decisions were right, and VAR checked almost all of them and didn't disagree with them. I can see how you might think the Ronaldo penalty is soft, but the fact is he tackles him from behind and he hits his leg, and it's a stupid cheap penalty.
VAR wouldn't have give that, would they? So I think whatever the decision on the
Because
field
it's
was
not a
stuck.
clear.
Yeah.
It's not a clear and obvious error because he tackles him from behind and he kicks his leg, and it's a stupid tackle. So yeah, tough luck. So no, I don't think that they can complain too much about stuff. There were a lot of yellow cards, but we had just as many as they did. But it's just sort of, it's just passionate bias, isn't it? You know, if things don't go your way, then you feel hard done by. And especially, you said it in the review, especially if you're 2-0 up and you lose a game 3-2, that's infuriating. But the bottom line is they're poor defensively. They have a poor goalkeeper, and their backline. What did they lose from their backline? They lost Zibani to PSG, Huysen to Madrid, Kirkesh to Liverpool, and they replaced them with the only quality replacement was Diakite, who seems to have been reasonably average, and they bought a goalkeeper ahead of us, thankfully. But they were poor defensively, and they didn't manage the game well. And their discipline was appalling. Scott gets substituted. Yeah, the Scott gets substituted at halftime because he's going to be sent off. And when Lewis Cook does a forearm smash, I think if you get to the stage where you feel like that as a player and you deliver that, then you've been wound up an awful lot through the entire game. And it wasn't because they were kicked or there were outrageous, red cards on them, because I can't really think of any. I just don't know why they've lost their heads, but perhaps because they know that they can't hold on to that lead and it's slipping away from them. But it's, I thought they were really poor defensively. I thought they were really poor in terms of discipline, and I don't think they can have too many complaints.
Did you hear the Bournemouth manager talking about the crowd? Because he was saying that the atmosphere played into the referee, and he'd said that. And this is one of them things where, because he said that, I'm like, I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's clear now in the psyche of all these teams that coming to Sunderland with the atmosphere and everything else that goes with it is really, really difficult. And I think that is now. Do you know when people used to say it isn't like this, but when people used to say you go to Old Trafford and a Fergie and you've lost before the game, it feels like we've got a little bit of this going on, that teams are coming to Sunderland thinking, oh, this is horrible.
You can go to those big sides now. Man City get nowhere near selling out their games, do they? And their fan base is quite old. At Chelsea, it was like going to a library. It was appropriate to chant that there. They had nothing there. And the same at Man United, they've got the first 5 rows are tourists, so it really impinges the atmosphere. But Bournemouth, I think Iraola's comments are slightly out of jealousy. What can he do? He can't dig out his own defence and say, look, we didn't buy the defenders. We can't hold on to the lead. I can't manage a game. I should have changed something. One of my midfielders has come off at half time because he can't control himself or he's on a yellow card. Well, he can't say those things. And I think there's a bit of frustration about the result there. And he is basically admitting a certain amount of jealousy. He would love to have that atmosphere behind himself at home, but they have, they only get about 18,000. I don't know how big their stadium is. It's not very big, 22. Huh? You're muted.
Yep, so I am. The ground holds 11,000. So they get
11,000. It's tiny. So I think that comment is born a bit out of jealousy. The fact that the home crowd can rally and raise the team so much and so effectively, and the noise must just be deafening. That you can only be a bit jealous of that home atmosphere. And I do think that some of the clubs like Chelsea or Arsenal or maybe Man United used to have that years ago and don't anymore. Such as the state of modern football, and long may we keep it, even after our extension, because it's a real bonus to us and it's worth points. I don't see how he can complain. It's just, I think it's born out of frustration from being unable to manage the game, not having the defensive players to seal it off. And it's a recognition of our players. I don't think it influenced the referee too much. I thought his decisions were pretty standard, and I thought he got them all right. To be honest, I think he could have booked more players. But,
propaganda rating. This is bitter.
Oh, this is
it doesn't deserve a number. It's just bitter.
Yeah, I just think it's the sort of thing that you can see on our forums are ready to go.
Yeah.
At a crushing loss. I mean, there'd be plenty of us who would write something like that if we were 2-0 up and failed to hold on to a lead.
That is true.
Yeah, but magnificent from our point of view to be able to come back from that.
Yeah.
On the whole, I found the Cherries fans are not deluded. I found on the whole that they accepted the situation. Most of them feel like they didn't deserve to win.
They've got a good YouTube channel that you can. I think it's called Back of the Net Bournemouth. They did a good review after the game, and they were quite kind towards Sunderland. Anyway, I thought I'd just share this quickly because we've now picked up more points than we did in our last Premier League season at home. So there we go. Isn't that nice?
It is nice. It's also nice that season we got relegated. It was a loss to Bournemouth that relegated us, and here we are rectifying that wrong. The circle is complete. All you see, all the land that the light touches is yours, my son. There you go. Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
I didn't expect that.
Mufasa.
Yeah.
So it's brilliant, and we've scored 22 points. And remind me, Connor, how many points have Burnley got? 10. And how many points have Leeds got?
11.
So we've scored more points than the other two promoted teams.
Yeah.
That's marvellous.
If you put Wolves in there, we're only 1 point behind the bottom three combined.
Wow, we must be doing really well. Other teams must be worried. Yeah. What's the gap between
Geordie
us
Josh
and Leeds? He's a Sunderland fan, man. I know he is.
Will we get 24? Maybe that could be a big question of the week. Will we be 24 points ahead of Leeds and Burnley at the end of the season?
Yes, we will. It will. But I would love us to engineer it so that we were precisely 24 points ahead of them. Yeah.
That would be nice. Nice.
I mean, I don't know when that might come, but who knows? We are 11 points ahead of them now. So that puts us
13 games. So by 26 games, we should be about 22 points ahead.
36 games. Yeah. Okay. It's possible. It's possible. But how many points ahead of them is that at the minute? It's 13 points ahead. No, it's not. They were on 11.
No,
we're 11.
We're 11.
11 points ahead. So the gap now is only, it's 13. I'm sorry. I'm 10 seconds behind you.
You're struggling.
And more. Yeah.
Math's not your thing. Right, next. Just a debating point. This side is better than the Peter Reid side I was looking up to witness. I never thought I'd be saying that. So is that true? Is this Sunderland team right now?
Are you asking me because you're
the 99?
You're asking me because you're too young. Is that why you're asking?
Well, I mean, my first game was 99, but I was only 5 years old, so I don't know if I can correctly answer.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember it very well. I was working at the football club when Peter Reid was the manager, and I worked there when we transferred to the Stadium of Light, and I worked there through that first season, and we had a really good side. It's different football these days. So Johnston and Summerby, and we played two strikers. Football is just different, so making the comparison is hard. You wouldn't get players, I think, like Alan Johnston in a Premier League team now because his defensive contributions would be practically nil. He just wouldn't get on the pitch, and neither did he have the sort of pace or physique to be up and down the pitch like that. I think we had good fullbacks who had they trained today would probably still get games for us, Macon and Gray. So it's different football. It's really hard to compare. And we finished 7th when we got promoted that first season. Do I think that we'll finish 7th this season? Do you? Or above?
I
like the pause.
am more interested in is I'm going to look how many points we got in 99-2000. I don't know how many we got. So
I don't think that
could,
we'll finish 7th. It's but the pause means it's not impossible.
So
You can
58
still play.
points. So that was 16 wins, 10 draws, 12 defeats. So we've only lost 3 games. So we're on pace to lose about 10 games this season. We're on pace to win 18 or so. And then I don't know how many games we've drawn right now, but currently we're on pace to probably just about better that. Do we sustain that? Possibly not. But I think if I'm being realistic, I think we finish 50 plus points, which means we're not too far away from that 7th place team.
I do. I think 50, 52, maybe 55 at best would be a top performance. And I think that I don't think we'll get 7th at all. I think we'll be somewhere round about mid-table. I'm not entirely sure where. But I think that this is a better team. I think we have greater depth than we did under Peter Reid. I think we are more competitive. So I still felt under Peter Reid that you couldn't go to Chelsea or Man United or Arsenal. You couldn't play those teams and expect. I thought, a draw would be the best you could ever do. And I didn't feel like we would ever score loads of goals. Now we did under Reid go to Chelsea and win. I think Hutchison
drew at Arsenal. Don't go, but drew at Arsenal 2-2.
And we won at home 1-0. Stanley Varga's amazing debut. So those things happened, but you never felt like it would. And I never went to every game then thinking we will score. But I do now for the first time ever following Sunderland. I think we will always score. So I do think that we're a better team. We probably won't reach the same height of final position as Peter Reid's team, but I do think all around the pitch we have physicality, we have skill, and we have depth. I think increasingly fans of Sunderland are not afraid of AFCON, and we have players who will still get fit. It was wonderful seeing Mundell yesterday. He didn't look out of place at all. And he gave them all sorts of trouble when he came on for his 25 minutes. That's wonderful to see. I thought he actually played a bit better than Talby when he came on. So I think it's a really good side. We've got great depth. I believe that will get stronger in January. I think we'll buy some players in January. And I think it is a better team. I remember that Reid team. I don't know if I'm just getting carried away, but why not? But I think it is a better team than the Reid team. Although it's hard to make that comparison. But I don't think we ever went to Man United and thought we could win. But we did this year. We're going to Liverpool with their current run of form. And people are, secretly at the back of their mind think, but, we might sneak a win there. That would never happen under Reid. And it's not like we have better teams ahead of us. So Arsenal are really good. Man City are really good. But we're even going to go to Man City and think maybe we could squeak a draw. You wouldn't go to those top teams thinking that, but we do now, and I think that tells you comparatively that we think we've got a better team, even though we might not achieve 7th.
I've just put on here the table last year, so it's 65 points to get 7th. I mean, that's a lot of points. Very, very difficult for us to get that. I think we're more likely to be in this 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. This little cluster in here. But the Premier League might have a lower points total this season because I think even though Leeds, Burnley and Wolves are stinking the joint out, I do think they are better than this bottom 3 down at the bottom. So I think that the point share should possibly be a little bit lower. But anyway, that's that. Right, let's move on. This is me. This has been 14 years ago on my Facebook memories. Nobody interacting with this either. I'm depressed about the Sunderland and the current situation. So I'm going to put some depressing music on and cry. So I had a look at the fixtures, and this is just after our 2-1 defeat at home to Wigan, which saw Steve Bruce get sacked. And I think I must have been upset about that. Maybe I wasn't a Steve Bruce in because I remember at the time. But
was that the chant "Get out of our club"?
Yeah, probably.
Was that? Did you join in?
Probably. I don't know. At that age. Well, I'm 16, 17 then, so I'm in the noisy corner and the singing end back then, so I probably am whinging about Steve Bruce. Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, 2011, depressed about Sunderland. So what was the music? Did he play The Cure or something?
I've got
Would have been
no
apt.
idea. It's probably like Snow Patrol or something.
However, it's nice to see that your dog is beautiful.
Yeah,
At the bottom there,
yes.
you can't
Yeah.
claim to be considerably younger than me if you've got records of posting on Facebook. I'm not having it.
Yeah, that's
That doesn't
true. And
happen
also,
anymore.
clearly, I'm very depressed about the situation, but on the same day, happy that my dog is beautiful, which is
It's a
nice.
small world you're living in back then, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, very very small.
Yeah.
World. Anyway.
Well, 14 years ago, we were still a Premier League side.
Yeah, we were not even halfway through our 10-year run.
We must have not. Steve Bruce only a year or two before that. Must have had Bent, and Bruce must have
Yeah,
finished 10th.
yeah.
But
So
this
we
was the
finished 10th
beginning
year
of the
before.
period. This was the beginning of the period when we started to annually circle the drain.
Yeah,
Was
yeah,
it?
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what were your expectations? Your expectations growing up then had been Premier League football and Sunderland being a Premier League side, and Ellis
Yeah,
Short having
ish,
lots of
but
money.
I think my first properly conscious of knowing what's happening in football is the 0203 we got relegated with 19. Then 0506 we got relegated with 15. So when we went up in 0708, and 0708 was my first year with the season ticket, I was just expecting to come straight back down.
Glory fan, aren't you? Season
Yeah,
ticket
yeah,
when we
that's
get
me.
promoted.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That is exactly
So when
it,
we
but
got
yeah.
promoted in 0708, we didn't really set things on fire then. We had a decade then. And
Yeah.
it wasn't a great decade, was it? Once we
No.
finished in the top half, we scraped
One
in on the
cup
last day of
final.
the season. Yeah, which we may be awarded in due course. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm an over top bus parade with Gus Boye. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there wasn't much to shout about. I think if you think about that period compared to now, we didn't really ever feel like we were going to have. Very briefly, when we had Bent and Jean, when we signed Jean
Yeah.
after his World Cup antics, I was like, wow, we've got that guy from the World Cup. And then we saw him play. I think very briefly for that season, I thought
We have
we're going
Welbeck.
places now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going places now. And then he buggered off to Saudi Arabia, didn't he? And for loads of money, and then the team fell apart.
He's
It was all
bankrupt
downhill
now.
from there. I read that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not quite. Not quite. If you read about him, he doesn't have much money in the bank, but he owns loads of businesses.
Oh, does he?
So he owns energy industry, and he owns like the transport network in Ghana and stuff like that. So,
Oh, fair enough.
yeah.
Very random. Let's move on. I think we've got a couple more things to look at. So this is, Adley, he scored the goal, but I'll read what he said after the game. I think we deserved better. The game wasn't easy, but I think the frustration's even higher when the decisions of the referee was only on one side. I think in our last games, even when we don't win, you can see our football is still there. We are playing good and are able to score. It's only about details. We need to stay confident. So we've already talked a little bit about the referee.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go again into that. But I think it's very, very... I think what Bournemouth are doing here is they are creating a siege mentality. That's what they're trying to do with this. They're trying to say, we are being dealt a really hard hand right now, but everyone stick with us because we've got a good team, we're exciting, da-da-da. And I think that's actually what they're... It's very Sir Alex Ferguson, isn't it? They're using the referee to shield the fact they're shipping goals for fun.
Well, I always think when you see things like that, it is far more telling what you don't talk about. And on this occasion, they don't talk about what's wrong with their team. They don't talk about their defense. And the fact is they're 2-0 up. And those goals were lucky breakaway goals. They haven't really created anything after that. The offside goal and Tavernier's shot is it. You'd have to have a worldie for Tavernier. So really, they might say they had one clear goal scoring opportunity they create for themselves. Fine. But that's not dominating the game. And defensively, they're terrible. And I think it's interesting that none of them are prepared to talk about that you can't hammer your own team. But it's really revealing when you talk about reasons for stuff. The stuff that you don't mention is usually the stuff that's really quite important. And it's not as though and I think you're right, it's siege mentality. They're on a poor run now. What have they? They've lost 3 of the last 4, including our game. So and they face they've got Everton next. Everton coming off a hiding. I mean, I don't know if they're home or away to Everton or not, but
They're at home.
Moyes will. They're at home. Yeah, I mean, if they don't, I think they're in a difficult period. If they don't win against Everton, they'll be five off the bat. They will fail to have won. They'll have lost 4 of them. So I think that's a really important game for them. And I think it's just
to concede
panicking.
Goals.
Yeah, too many goals. Too many goals. I think they've conceded
3, 4,
where are they
2, 3 the last 4 games.
Well, that's horrendous. I mean, you cannot hope to maintain your place in the table if you're conceding that many. I think that's one of our strengths. We might not create as many, but our goal difference is really solid, and that's much more important than how many you score. I think that goal difference to the table, because you can pick up single points. Yeah.
Just realised, looking at this Premier League table I had up before, that we actually have 22 points now, which is the same as what Ipswich had all of last season. We've also won more games than Ipswich already, and the same amount as Leicester, who won 6. So there we go.
Switch's plan was to build a squad that could win the championship this season, and even that's not going so well.
No, it isn't. I thought we'd finish off with this. Sunderland, the most likeable team in the Premier League. Everyone wants them to do well, bar Newcastle fans, of course. Do you think that this is true? Do you think that Sunderland are becoming a bit of a second team for people?
Yeah, I do. Because everybody likes an underdog, and we were written off before the season started. We have been out of the Premier League for so long that I don't think that we have accrued those games of not deserving to win, or those games of stealing something, or those games where the referee irritates you. So we don't have the recent history of building opportunities and frequent meetups with other teams where they start to dislike you because of what's happened in the game. And that's, I think, what it's been reflected. No one has any beef with us. No one sees us as a particular individual threat, except for our neighbours who are worrying. And nobody has any recent history of a game being stolen by us, or fans singing horrible things about them, whatever. And I think that's it. There's no reason for anyone to dislike us. We're not a direct threat. There's no recent history, and we're the underdog, and we're doing really well. And people have been looking at the Premier League and thinking, I mean, people like to see competition. When we drew with Arsenal, everybody liked that because it keeps the title race alive. When we go to Stamford Bridge and beat the team that spends £1 billion, everyone thinks that's great. Football is still here, So I just think we haven't offended anybody. We're playing well, and it's quite nice. Like last season, Nuno and Nottingham Forest, everybody was like, that's great for football, isn't it? Wonderful to see. Like when Leicester won the title. Not that we're going to do any of those two things, but I think it's for the same reasons.
Yes. Yeah, I think as well, a lot of people are getting sick of the newly promoted teams being absolutely awful. Yeah. And I think Leeds and Burnley are probably going to get relegated this season. But clearly we aren't. And that is good for football, and also good for football.
You're so positive.
I know I am.
You're so positive these days.
Beaming of positivity. If you actually look at the championship table right now,
yes,
none of the parachute payment teams they're not in the playoffs. So we could end up in a situation where we have 3 non-parachute teams go up, which I think is brilliant for English football, because seeing Sheffield United just come up and get humped, and Southampton come up and get humped, and Leicester get humped, and all these teams just getting murdered when they come up in the Premier League. These teams that are going to come up, if Coventry come up, I think
Coventry, Middlesbrough, and Millwall, that would be great if those teams came up. Coventry, Middlesbrough, and Millwall, that would be fantastic.
You're happy for Alex Neil? You're forgiving Alex Neil? Are you over it?
I am over it, because he made such a mess of Stoke and got sacked so quickly. And that was what I was like, okay, fine, we're even now. You left us and then you got booted from them. We're even. I don't mind what you do now. So, yeah.
I think I'm exactly the same. I also think Alex Neil deserves a lot of credit for where we are. I think a lot of the never say die attitude that we have ingrained in the club, and a lot of the things that he did are still evident. I really like Alex Neil.
I liked him.
Devastated when he left.
I liked him. He thought that we couldn't progress with our model. Obviously not true. I know it frustrated Mowbray as well, but what a position it put us in once we got there. But also, I think that his football was limited. I always felt with him that if we were going to be a promoted side, or if we were going to get promoted, that he could never be our manager, because it was quite defensive and quite limited and quite rigid. So it didn't bother me so much. I didn't feel like he's a manager who can take us on, for a long time. In the way that you do think that. I didn't think that. No, I thought he was quite limited and quite defensive, and I always felt that. I thought if we want to get promoted, he's not going to be the person who does it. So if I saw him get promoted with Millwall, that would be a tremendous achievement for him. Yeah. But he can't be their Premier League manager, I don't think, unless he's changed. I haven't seen enough of their games.
He would be their Premier League. They wouldn't sack him. So he would be their Premier League manager.
Well, Leeds thought about sacking Farker. Leeds considered sacking Farker in the summer.
Yeah,
maybe they should have.
Yeah, they definitely should have. Anyway, there we are. That's propaganda wrapped up for another week. Check out our Bournemouth review if you've not seen it already. We'll have a Liverpool preview coming out as well. Thanks, Taff, for joining me. Always fun. The best time of the week to go through some propaganda. And we'll see you all very soon.